The PlayStation Store is running a couple of sales right now, and I thought I'd take this video to take a look at some of the best deals available, going over 10 of those deals. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Kicking things off, I do want to give a shout to Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition, which is 80% off for $9.99. Now, this is an awesome deal. This might be the cheapest Pillars of Eternity has ever been on PlayStation 4, but PoE is a really good old-school RPG done by Obsidian, published by Paradox. This is an RPG that's more reminiscent of classic PC RPGs, but it makes a pretty solid transition to the PlayStation 4. This version also comes with some additional content, as it is the complete edition, so that's really great. The content itself is the White March Parts 1 and 2. Game has a ton of depth to it, a lot of layers to the story as well, and just the gameplay. It's one of those games that does have a little bit of a learning curve, and maybe you'll be off-put by it if you just give it a half an hour or so, but give it some time, and I guarantee you will end up being invested into the game, and for $9.99, I think this is a great buy. Next up, we have Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered. This is 70% off for $14.99. This is a sick deal, given that this game is still not even a year old. It came out, what, 10 months ago or so? And Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is an awesome RPG. This is a game I played back on the PlayStation 3, and I'd argue it's one of, if not the best JRPG that was released on the PlayStation 3, and now that you can get it on the PlayStation 4, even better. $15 for it is quite good. I actually think this is better than Ni no Kuni 2, and that says a lot, because I like Ni no Kuni 2, but I thought Ni no Kuni 1 was on another level, so $15 for this, I think, is really good. And this is one of those JRPGs that I think is a great gateway JRPG. If you've never played a JRPG before, or maybe your experiences with them are few and far between, Ni no Kuni 1 is one to, give a shot to JRPGs with, just because there's a lot of relatable elements to it, and it's a great game with a fantastic art style, so definitely check that one out. Next up, we have Shadow Warrior 2, 75% off for $9.99. I was inclined to mention this given the fact that Shadow Warrior 3 just got announced. That game will be out later on, only confirmed for PC at this point, but I'm sure it'll be coming to consoles as well. If you're unfamiliar with Shadow Warrior, it is a stylish action-adventure title, and it's a game that is absolutely brutal, gory, everything like that you can think of. It's a cooperative game as well, so if you do want to play with a couple of buddies, you can do that, but if you want to play solo, just as good, and for $9.99, it is a very slick and well-presented action title. Definitely would give that a recommendation. Again, inclined to mention this one, given that we just had the announcement of Shadow Warrior 3, so that's very exciting as well. Next up, we have Zone of the Enders, The Second Runner Mars. This is 75% off for $7.49. Zone of the Enders is a franchise I tend to go to bat for. However, I don't think we'll ever see it getting revived, given that Konami owns the IP. Hideo Kojima was very much involved with these games, and I just don't think there's a chance that we're going to get a Zone of the Enders 3. Hey, I'm holding out, but don't think that's going to be happening. Nevertheless, The Second Runner is a solid title that I would give a recommendation to. Very well presented here as well, and we need more quality mech titles in gaming in general. We don't have a lot of great ones. Yeah, there's titles like the Gundam games every now and again, and Daemon X Machina on the Switch was pretty decent. That's available on PC as well. But Zone of the Enders, in my opinion, is on another level, and for $7.49, I think this is a really great buy. Next up, Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master Edition is $36. At this point, I imagine the majority of you guys have at least given Monster Hunter World a shot. If you haven't, $36 for the Master Edition of Iceborne is so great. This, of course, includes the base game as well as the Iceborne expansion, so you are getting absolutely a stacked amount of content. We're talking north of hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content, and Capcom has done a phenomenal job of keeping this game updated, keeping it fresh, and having new stuff to do, and there's already an inherent level of replayability that supersedes a lot of the games on the market today. MH World, there's a reason why it's one of the most popular games in gaming today, and it absolutely deserves its position. Really crazy to see how this long-running franchise in Monster Hunter has just exploded with Monster Hunter World, but it's absolutely deservingly so, and $36 for this is great. Want to give a shout out to Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, 90% off, yes, 90% off for just $3. If you never checked out Far Cry 3 back in 2012 on the PlayStation 3, well, now is a great time to give the game a look with Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. Now, this version of the game isn't anything special, but it's Far Cry 3 at the end of the day, and Far Cry 3 for $3 is a really good deal. A lot of people are connecting Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 6 somehow. I won't go into that, but yeah, that might be a thing. I don't know if I completely believe that, but definitely I can see why people are making that connection. Far Cry 3, going back to this game, it's a fantastic open-world first-person shooter, and Far Cry 3 was really the one that 4 and 5 built off of, and the franchise hasn't really been shaken up that much since the release of 3, but they are always very good. They're always competent and working titles, and the old, what does the old adage say? You don't need to fix what isn't broken, and Far Cry is really been in a resemblement of that. $3 for Far Cry 3 Classic, however, is fantastic. Next up, we have the Aquatic Dream Collection, 63% off, $14.79. You got Beyond Two Souls, which isn't very good, Heavy Rain, which is awesome, and Detroit Become Human, which is awesome as well. Maybe I'm crapping on Beyond Two Souls a little bit too much these days, but man, I did not have a great time with that game. It had some interesting elements, but Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain are absolutely on another level. Whatever the case may be, you get 3 games for $14.79, and I think this is a pretty good deal. You know what to expect out of Aquatic Dream experience. You're getting that story-driven game here, and it is pretty good. I really enjoyed the setting of Detroit Become Human. Heavy Rain was really good as well. Even though Heavy Rain does show its age a little bit here and there, I still thought overall it was a quality title. And for $14.79, definitely worth a pickup here. Next up, we have Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, 67% off for $9.89. I'm inclined to mention this over AC4 just because I think everybody and their mother has heard me talk about AC4, and at this point I hope the majority of you guys have played AC4. AC Rogue, on the other hand, is one of those games that has really not gotten the attention it deserves, and I don't know why. I mean, I actually do know why. It was released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 while the PS4 and Xbox One were already out, and you know, a lot of people did not want to play it. They went with the Unity route, and Unity was absolutely atrocious, so AC Rogue then came out on PlayStation 4 years later, and it just didn't have a lot of attention, but it was a really solid game if you enjoyed AC4. It's a lot of that, not quite as good as AC4, but still very, very good, and $9.89 for this one I think is a great buy. Definitely give that a look. Next up, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, 50% off for $9.99. Resident Evil 7 is awesome. I know these days Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 are getting the priority of the attention, but Resident Evil 7 is great in its own right, and 50% off for $9.99 is excellent. This really brought the franchise back to its horror roots. Got that horror element, it's got that, you know, eeriness to it, and that's really what Resident Evil thrives on, and $9.99 for RE7 I think is a great buy, so definitely give that a look, especially with Resident Evil 8 Village on the horizon, probably coming out in 2021, sometime early in 2021. Now's a great time to check out RE7. Lastly, another game that is very timely right now, No Man's Sky is 50% off for $24.99. You guys may have heard that No Man's Sky is getting a little update called Desolation that turns it into a, you know, a little bit of a horror experience. I mean, 50% off for No Man's Sky I think is really solid given what Hello Games has done with this game. They've really turned it around and made No Man's Sky into a very, very compelling title with a lot of content, a lot of depth to it. A far cry from what it was in August of 2016. I give them a lot of credit. No Man's Sky now is a really good buy. So those are the deals that I wanted to cover. A lot of great deals available, whether it be Pillars of Eternity if you're looking for an old school RPG, Ni no Kuni if you're looking for a JRPG, Resident Evil 7 for a horror fix, No Man's Sky for a game that goes online and has a lot of depth to it, Assassin's Creed Rogue if you want that AEC experience. A lot of good stuff here, but that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.